My world ended to the sound of a champagne cork popping. It was supposed to be my wedding night. But instead of being in my husband's arms, I was standing in the shadows of a hotel corridor, listening to him sell me $1 million for one night. Jensen's voice, the voice that had whispered vows to me hours ago, boomed from the exclusive whiskey lounge. And not a penny less. Come on, Jensen, another man slurred, the sound thick with expensive liquor. Even for a virgin, that's a steep price. A deep, cruel laugh that I knew all too well echoed in the hall. It was Jensen. Steep? She's my brand new wife. The ink on the marriage certificate is barely dry. That adds a premium. The price goes up. A chorus of wolf whistles and jeering laughter erupted. But man, aren't you going to, you know? It's your wedding night. Won't Rosalind lose her mind? Let her, Jensen spat, his tone laced with a venom I'd never heard before. That's what she gets for flexing on Sabrina. It was hard enough not marrying the woman I love. Besides, there was a pause, a rustle of something small. I've got this to keep me company. My phone slipped from my numb fingers, clattering onto the plush carpet. My tears followed, hot and silent. A sheet of white pills. He'd chosen pills over me. Seriously, Jensen, this private post of yours auctioning off the wedding night experience must have hundreds of likes by now. Jensen's voice was slick with pride. Something like that. You're not afraid Rosalind will find out and tear you a new one? Please, he scoffed. I'll just say it was a joke. What's she going to do, leave me? The sycophantic praise began anew. Jensen, your charisma is off the charts. No wonder Rosalind chased you for so long. But what did she do to piss you off this badly? He preened at the compliment. She paraded her happiness in front of Sabrina. Failing to marry Sabrina is the biggest regret of my life. If I don't teach her a lesson now, she'll be lording it over Sabrina forever. He was scrolling through his phone, and then I heard him chuckle. Found it. He must have held up his phone for the others to see. Don't tell me she's not worth it. This is from a private photo shoot Rosalind did. Look at that chest. That ass. You're telling me this body isn't worth $1 million? The room erupted in lewd cheers. I wanted to storm in, to scream, to claw at his face. But my body was a traitor, trembling uncontrollably. My throat felt like it was filled with broken glass. Our marriage had been arranged when we were children. 3 years ago, when the Knight family's business empire was on the verge of collapse, Jensen Knight suddenly entered my world. It was love at first sight for me. I pursued him relentlessly, and soon, he was my boyfriend. With him, the fish on my plate was always deboned, the shrimp always peeled. He opened every door, ordered my favorite dishes without my asking. His attentiveness made me the envy of all my friends. Seeing my happiness, my parents poured more and more resources into his family's company, helping them conquer new markets and securing massive deals. Our wedding was fast-tracked. Until a month ago, a woman named Sabrina Vale showed up, claiming she was Jensen's one true love. And how did Jensen react? He knelt before me, his eyes filled with a desperate, wounded earnestness. Rosie, don't listen to a word she says. I only love you. Just, please don't let her see our posts, our life. It'll only cause more trouble. I believed him. I thought it was all one-sided, Sabrina's desperate obsession. But now, I posted a single photo from our wedding shoot. I forgot to exclude Sabrina from the viewing list. That evening, she posted a tearful, drunken video. In it, her eyes were red-rimmed, a single, perfect teardrop clinging to the tip of her nose. The picture of fragile beauty. That same night, Jensen was carried home by his friends, dead drunk. I frantically asked what was wrong. One of his friends shot me a contemptuous glance. He's mourning the bride he didn't get to marry, he'd said. I didn't understand it then. Now, it's all horrifically clear. Sabrina was the one enshrined in his heart. I was just the collateral, the necessary sacrifice to resurrect the Knight family fortune. I stumbled out of the hotel, the city's celebratory red lights searing my eyes. My parents' parting words, their hopes for my happiness, echoed in my ears like a curse. I'm sorry, Mom. I'm sorry, Dad. I didn't find happiness. I chose a man who never loved me. Because he didn't love me. He didn't care about my dignity. He didn't care about my feelings. He turned me into a joke, and my most cherished dream, my wedding night, into the ultimate nightmare. I walked back to our house alone. Our new home. I looked at the room I had so carefully decorated, the silk La Perla nightgown I'd laid out on the bed. I covered my face, sobs racking my body, tears streaming through my fingers. Then, my phone rang. Rosie, where are you? Jensen's voice. I wiped my tears. I'm at. Bang. The bedroom door was kicked open. Jensen, we found her. She's in the master bedroom, all alone. A dozen men poured into the room. My hand trembled, and the phone fell again. I instinctively crossed my arms over my chest. Don't be shy, Mrs. Knight. One of them, reeking of stale alcohol, swaggered towards me. It was nauseating. He saw the silk nightgown on the bed and picked it up with a greasy finger, a sleazy smirk on his face. Jensen told us, on this special night, to come and keep you company. Get out. I tried to sound firm, but my voice wavered. There are security cameras in here. My fear only seemed to excite the man leading the pack. He plopped down on the bed beside me, his eyes raking over my body. What's with the high and mighty act? Your husband is out with another woman on your wedding night. Yeah, you posed for photos with your tits half out, and now you're playing the saint? A saint doesn't get her wedding night auctioned off by her own husband. I bet deep down she's a total slut. That's not true. Tears streamed down my face. Those photos were private, taken by my best friend. I had only ever sent them to Jensen. The man's amusement faded. He reached for me. Just then, a light, mocking laugh echoed from the doorway. Oh my, on the day of Jensen's grand wedding, how could I possibly not show up? It was Sabrina. She sauntered in, her eyes immediately finding me, surrounded by a pack of wolves. A perfectly shaped eyebrow arched in feigned surprise. My own eyes locked onto the fresh, angry love bite blooming on her collarbone. And then I saw it. Jensen's wedding ring, on her finger. My blood ran cold. Sabrina produced 2 glasses of wine from somewhere. She offered one to me. I'm so sorry I missed the ceremony today. Let this be my apology. The men snickered. Looks like Jensen still has some energy left. Sabrina can still run over here to claim her territory. You idiot. The Knight Corporation is about to go public. What use will the Wexler family be then? Of course, she gets kicked to the curb. I shrank back, Jensen's white pills flashing in my mind. God only knew what she'd put in this glass. Take it away. I'm not drinking it. I yelled, but it only drew more laughter. Rosalind, are you trying to disrespect me? Sabrina's voice turned sharp. She grabbed my wrist, pulling me towards her. She leaned in, her lips brushing my ear. I'm sorry, but Jensen's wedding night already happened, with me. As for yours, worried I've drugged you? Darling, you were drugged hours ago. In that glass of champagne you shared at the altar. Boom. My mind exploded. The scene from the wedding ceremony flashed before my eyes. Rosie, a toast to us. Jensen's eyes, full of what I thought was love, had mesmerized me. I blushed and downed the entire glass. He drugged me then? At our own wedding? Rosie? A familiar voice. Jensen walked in, a gentle smile plastered on his face. For once, his shirt was buttoned to the top, but it couldn't completely hide the damning marks on his neck. I bit my lip, my nails digging into my palms, the pain a welcome anchor. Jensen sat beside me, prying my hand open. What are you doing? These are my friends. Don't you trust us? Suddenly, my vision blurred. A wave of intense heat surged through my abdomen, making my entire body feel feverish. Whoa. Jensen, looks like the drug's kicking in. Is this really okay, ma'am? One of the men asked. A flicker of hesitation in his eyes. Jensen's smile was a cruel slash across his face. Of course. The Wexler family is in trouble. They won't be recovering anytime soon. Go on, have your fun. I'll back you up. With the last of my sanity, I grabbed his arm, tears blurring my vision. Jensen, tell me why. Why are you doing this to me? I gave you my whole heart. Why? His eyes were bloodshot now, a terrifying mask of rage. He seized my chin. Rosalind, do you have any idea the despicable things your family did to mine? This is nothing. You have so much more to suffer. He flung me back onto the bed. Without a second glance, he wrapped an arm around Sabrina and walked out of the room. As she left, Sabrina turned her head, her eyes filled with pure, unadulterated triumph. Help, please, help me. I tried to cover myself, but my limbs were heavy, useless. My body was exposed to the cold air and the predatory gazes. I tried to escape, but someone grabbed my ankle, yanking me back. Hands reached for me, pulling at my clothes. I bit down on my tongue, hard. The sharp, metallic taste of blood filled my mouth, giving me a momentary jolt of strength. My mother, for protection, always placed a small, sharp pair of scissors under my pillow. It was my only hope. The drug sent waves of heat and pleasure through me, a sickening tide that clouded my vision with hallucinations. I bit harder, a trickle of blood escaping the corner of my mouth. The man in front of me grabbed my chin and slapped me, the sound echoing in the silent room. You bitch. Stop pretending to be a fucking saint. My fingers finally brushed against something cold and metal under the pillow. Don't you come near me. I pulled out the scissors, brandishing them wildly. Ew, she's got a toy. What, you like it rough, Rosalind? We can play along. They weren't afraid. Some of them were even laughing. I scrambled to the corner of the bed, hugging my knees to my chest. Then, I raised the scissors and plunged them into my own stomach. The laughter stopped. You want me dead? I gasped, my voice a ragged whisper. I'll do it myself. The crimson blood spread across the white sheets, a grotesque flower blooming in my new marriage bed. My strength was fading fast. I saw their shocked faces, their panicked retreat, just before the world went black. I woke to the sterile smell of antiseptic, my brows furrowed in pain. I opened my eyes and saw a familiar, tear-streaked face. My mother. I burst into tears. Rosie, let's leave this city. We'll start over, she whispered, her own eyes swollen and red. My father stood beside her, his face a grim mask, but the glint of tears in his eyes betrayed him. That bastard, he gritted out. How dare he do something like this? The memories of that night flooded back, a vile taste rising in my throat. But looking at my parents' heartbroken faces, I forced a smile. Okay, I've been wanting a change of scenery anyway. When do we leave? Rosie, the door opened. It was Jensen. My father's face contorted with rage. He lunged forward and slapped Jensen hard across the face. You animal. We were blind to entrust our daughter to you. Jensen's tongue darted out to lick his split lip, his expression turning dark and menacing. I'm the animal? What about when your precious Wexler family orchestrated our downfall, then pretended to rescue us just to get free shares in our company? Wasn't that animalistic? You. Who told you we had anything to do with your family's troubles? Jensen sneered. Stop pretending. Oh, and by the way, Sabrina is pregnant. It's a boy. He will inherit everything I have. You monster, my mother cried, her body trembling. After what you did to Rosie, you have the nerve to say you have another child. On the bed, every small movement sent a searing pain through my wound. Jensen's words replayed in my head, and a horrifying realization dawned on me. Jensen, I said, my voice hoarse. This was all part of your plan, wasn't it? He glanced at me. You're not as stupid as you look, Rosalind. Sabrina was pregnant with an illegitimate child. But if I, his legal wife, became someone lower, more disgraced than her, she could step into the light. He would get his revenge on me and elevate his true love in one fell swoop. I looked at the man I had loved for 3 years and felt nothing but a hollow, bitter absurdity. My father, regaining his composure, suddenly grabbed a flower pot from the table and swung it at Jensen. Jensen caught his arm, twisting it slightly. My father cried out in pain. Jensen. I tried to sit up, but the agony was too much. Rosalind. Yes or no? Jensen's face was impatient, his grip tightening. My father had just had surgery a few months ago. Yes. Yes, I agree. He released my father, brushing the dust from his suit. That's more like it. I hear the Wexlers are a bit short on cash right now. Don't worry, put it all on my tab. He laughed, a horrible, grating sound. My parents rushed to my side, and the three of us clung to each other, weeping. Somehow, my father managed to arrange everything in 3 days. 2 weeks later, when Jensen finally remembered me after spending time with Sabrina, he pushed open the door to my hospital room and found an empty bed. Doctor. Nurse. The patient in this room, where is she? They checked out ages ago. Dad, you don't have to watch me every day. I'm fine. It had been a month since we moved. I hadn't left the house. My parents, worried sick, took turns staying home with me. My father frowned, leaning in to make sure I wasn't crying. He sighed. When Stellan came back, he saw the problems in the company at a glance. We pulled the rug out from under them, moving all our key operations here. We wanted to use the chaos to expose the traitor in our ranks, but I never imagined. Rosie, it's my fault. His voice broke. My father was never a man who cried. It's not your fault, Dad, I said, looking at the man who had worked his whole life for us. He would have found a way to hurt me regardless. Even if the company wasn't in trouble, it would have happened eventually. It's better to know the truth now. Better to cut my losses. Master Wexler. I'm here. A familiar voice boomed from the entryway, followed by the rich aroma of fresh pastry. Stellan. What kind of cake did you bring me today? Stellan Ranier's laughter filled the hall. Your nose is a superpower, Rosie. It's from that new patisserie on the corner. The chef trained in Paris. Their mousse is supposed to be divine. When Stellan was here, my father could finally relax. I watched him in the kitchen, getting plates and forks. A sad smile touched my lips. It was obvious how he felt about me. But the photos and videos from that night had leaked. Though my father and Stellan had managed to get many accounts banned, the content was still out there. Friends I'd known for years were messaging me, their words a mix of feigned concern and gleeful curiosity. The mockery stung. I had always been good to them. Why were they kicking me when I was down? Stellan had just patted my shoulder. Some people are just like that, Rosie. You could be standing perfectly still, and they'd find a reason to hate you. What are you thinking about? Stellan snapped his fingers in front of my face. Eat up. I picked up my fork, looking at the man before me. He was a boy my father had sponsored years ago, who had even lived with us for a while. He'd since built his own empire abroad. He was a good man. Too good for me now. I had to make things clear. Stellan, a frantic knocking at the door cut me off. Stellan stood up. Probably just a delivery. The moment he opened the door, a familiar voice, laced with fury, barged in. Where's Rosalind? Where is she? My body started to shake uncontrollably. The leering faces of those men flashed in my mind. Rosalind, what are you doing here? Come on, we're going home. Jensen, his face a thunderous mask, reached for my wrist. Let go of her. Stellan's fist connected with Jensen's jaw before he could even register the threat. Jensen staggered back, tasting blood. He wiped his mouth, his eyes locking onto my hand, which Stellan was now holding protectively. His gaze turned icy. Rosalind, you have some nerve. How long has it been, and you're already in another man's bed? Isn't this the outcome you wanted, Jensen? I lifted my chin, forcing the words out. My life is no longer your business. My lawyer will be in touch about the divorce. Never. I won't sign anything. Your approval is not required. A sudden rage flared within me. Get out of my house. Now. Immediately, Jensen stared at me, a flicker of disbelief, of something that looked like hurt, in his eyes. Could a man like him even feel hurt? In our 3 years together, I had always been gentle, soft-spoken. We never fought. I never raised my voice to him. And what did I get in return? My wedding night auctioned off. Drugged with the celebratory champagne. My clothes torn from my body. A desperate act of self-harm to avoid being gang raped. He had wounded me, and now he expected gratitude? The same love as before? Jensen's jaw tightened. Your family almost bankrupted mine. I was just taking back a little of what was owed. When you conspired with others to destroy us. Jensen. The name felt foreign, bitter on my tongue. I've told you before. My family did nothing. A dangerous light flashed in his eyes. You say you didn't, so I'm just supposed to believe. Ding dong. The doorbell rang again. Stellan, still holding my hand, led me to the door. He opened it to a man in a sharp suit. Ms. Wexler, your father asked me to deliver. Mr. Davison? What are you doing here? Jensen stepped forward, his previous arrogance vanishing. He offered a hand, his posture almost deferential. After a moment of polite small talk, Jensen asked the question that was burning in his mind. Mr. Davison, a senior partner from a rival private equity firm, simply gestured towards me. I'm here to deliver some documents to the chairman's beloved daughter. I could feel the shock radiating from Jensen's back. He stood frozen, a statue of disbelief. When Mr. Davison finally took his leave, Jensen turned to me, his eyes wide with a dawning horror. Rosalind, your family isn't bankrupt? There was an edge of accusation in his voice, as if I had personally deceived him. Before I could speak, Stellan stepped forward. Jensen, it's a miracle you've climbed this high with a brain that small. Did you trade all your sense for good luck at birth? You, Jensen lunged, but I moved in front of Stellan, my arms spread protectively. Jensen's eyes narrowed, his gaze fixed on my defensive posture. Rosalind, do you have any idea whose wife you are? I flinched, but held my ground, swallowing the tears that threatened to fall. On my wedding night, that woman died, Jensen. Or have you forgotten what you did? He raised a hand as if to argue. I did what I had to because your family. Thwack. Stellan slapped a thick file onto the coffee table in front of him. Jensen, you let everyone play you for a fool. Read this. Find out who really tried to ruin your family. And find out whose son your precious Sabrina is really carrying. Jensen froze, then slowly bent to pick up the file. The first page made his eyes go wide. The further he read, the more profound the shock on his face became. Impossible. Sabrina, she. Stellan let out a cold, contemptuous laugh. She was forced abroad by your parents and had to abort your child? Is that the story? Jensen, if you had a single ounce of sense, you would have asked your own parents instead of throwing a tantrum here. For the first time, Jensen didn't argue. He scrambled to his feet and rushed to the door. Before leaving, he turned back, his gaze fixed on me. Rosie, I'll be back for you. I turned my head away in disgust. After he left, I looked at Stellan, my mind reeling. I knew Sabrina was manipulative, but I couldn't imagine the extent of her deceit. Stellan's expression was pained. Sometimes, the most dangerous jealousy comes from those closest to you. It was all a setup, a grand performance orchestrated by Sabrina and Jensen's best friends, just for him. When the Knight family's fortune first began to wane, Sabrina saw her dream of marrying into wealth crumbling. She abandoned Jensen for a richer prospect abroad, fabricating the story of his parents forcing her away. She knew Jensen's pride would never allow him to confirm such a story with them, but she never expected that with my family's help, the Knights would not only recover but become more powerful than ever. While she was living off a 50-year-old sugar daddy overseas, she watched Jensen's rise with gnawing envy. So she came back. First, she tried to provoke me. When that failed, she went to Jensen's circle of friends. They were already green with envy over the Knight family's sudden resurgence. Sabrina, a master of seduction, slept her way through the group, uniting them in a common cause. They fed Jensen a perfectly crafted narrative, the tragic tale of his lost love, forced to abort their child, and the truth that my family had orchestrated his downfall. Jensen, blinded by guilt and surrounded by liars, believed every word. He began to hate me. He began to hate my family. I stared at Stellan as he played a recording on his phone. Are we sure about this? Doing this to Jensen, it was the voice of the first man who had approached me in the bedroom. What's the problem? Another voice sneered. Why should he get a guardian angel to save his ass? Besides, the Wexler heiress. Stellan quickly hit pause. I nodded for him to continue. Is ours for the taking? You're telling me you're not tempted? But Jensen's always been good to us. Shut up. Blame him for getting lucky. He got the golden ticket and left us behind. Besides, if he's stupid enough to believe us over his own family and his wife, that's on him. Could friends really be like this? Could they harbor so much resentment over one success? Stellan stroked my hair. People are complicated, Rosie. Jensen surrounded himself with snakes. But it was his own fault. If he had just asked, if he had just trusted me, none of this would have happened. I felt no pity for him. Jensen, I heard, moved quickly. He put Sabrina under house arrest, ostensibly for the baby's health, but all the neighbors heard were her screams. As for his brothers, their darkest secrets were suddenly leaked to the press: bullying, workplace harassment, hit-and-run accidents covered up. Their family businesses were thrown into a PR nightmare. My father withdrew all support from the Knight Corporation. Stellan used his own connections to intercept their biggest contracts. The board of directors, seeing the company's stock plummet, put the IPO on indefinite hold. I didn't expect Jensen to have the audacity to show his face again. I was reading in the garden when he appeared, a ghost of his former self. Rosie. He was thinner, his cheeks hollow, dark circles under his eyes. I turned to leave, but he rushed forward, grabbing my arm. Jensen, what do you want? He bit his lip, fighting back tears, but the moment our eyes met, he broke. Rosie. I'm so sorry. It's all my fault. I looked away. Then, with a thud, he fell to his knees. He grabbed my hand and slapped himself with it, over and over. It's my fault, Rosie. I'm a monster. Hit me, kill me, please, just kill me. I wrenched my hand back. Stop it, Jensen. It's useless. He fumbled in his pocket and pulled out a small, embroidered charm I had made for him years ago. No, Rosie, look. I always kept it with me. I do love you. Love me? I closed my eyes, steadying my breath. And what good is that now? Have you forgotten what you did? I unlocked my phone and threw it at him, the video one of my friends had sent me playing on the screen. The sounds of their jeers, their catcalls. Look at what I went through, Jensen. Look at how many of them put their hands on me. If it weren't for the scissors my mother gave me, I wouldn't be alive today. He clenched his fists, his knuckles turning white. Rosie, I will make them pay. They will pay, Jensen. But would any of this have happened if you had trusted me? If you had trusted your own parents? Rosie, go. I never want to see you again. His phone rang. Mr. Knight, it's bad. The videos of your wife, someone's leaked them online. Jensen's face went white. He slammed his fist into the ground. Who? My own phone buzzed incessantly. I fumbled with the passcode, my hands shaking. Finally, it opened. Rosalind, is that you in the video? Rosalind, how could you let this happen? And the last one, from Sabrina. If I'm going down, Rosalind, you're coming with me. My phone fell from my grasp. I looked at the broken man on the ground. Is this your revenge, Jensen? Well, congratulations. You've succeeded. No, Rosie, it wasn't me. I'll find out who did it. It was Sabrina. That bitch. I'll make her pay, he pleaded, grabbing for my hand. Jensen, I whispered, my voice devoid of all emotion. Just don't ever let me see you again. He scrambled away, practically crawling as he fled. I watched him go, then sank to the ground, finally allowing myself to wrap my arms around my body and weep. The videos were quickly taken down by my father's team, but the damage was done. Stellan sent out nearly 50 cease and desist letters, and the tide of slander began to recede. Then came the news, Sabrina had gone into premature labor. My father came home, his face alight with a grim sort of joy. She gave birth. Seeing my confusion, he boomed, the baby is black. Sabrina had built her career on her back. It was only a matter of time before it caught up with her. She had leaked the videos out of spite after Jensen confronted her. His anger had triggered the labor. When the doctor emerged from the delivery room with a dark-skinned baby, Jensen simply turned and walked away. When Sabrina woke from the anesthesia and learned the truth, she fainted. The scandal became the joke of the city. Jensen was a laughingstock. But Sabrina wasn't done. From her hospital bed, she went online, claiming I had switched her baby at birth. She posted my videos again, tagging me. The internet mob, seeing a haggard new mother's desperate plea, turned on me. Slut, homewrecker, the names were endless, until Stellan Rainier broke the internet. He posted a photo to his company's official account. He was nude, save for a strategically placed leaf, with the caption, "The victim blaming stops now." The sheer audacity of it, coming from a man of his stature, shifted the entire conversation. Then, Jensen came forward. He released a full statement, detailing everything from that night. The public fury was immediate and overwhelming. Drugging her? The police need to get involved. The police were tagged by the thousands. Soon, videos of Sabrina partying in nightclubs, flanked by two black men, surfaced, sealing her fate. The police came for Jensen. He knew what was coming. Assault, contributing to bodily harm, it was a prison sentence. His last message to me was delivered by a lawyer. Rosie, I'm sorry. If he's sorry, I replied, tell him to sign the divorce papers. Jensen was sentenced to 2 years in prison. His parents' hair turned white overnight. The Knight Corporation began to crumble. Sabrina, spiraling from the pressure, drowned her own child in a swimming pool one night. She was sentenced to 7 years for murder. The men who had joined Jensen that night received sentences ranging from 6 months to a year. Stellan was smiling when he told me the news. I looked at him, my expression serious. Did you have fun taking that picture? His smile vanished. He pouted, tugging at my sleeve like a child. No. But now we're even. We've both been exposed. You have to keep me. She met his gaze, a slow, genuine smile finally blooming on her face for the first time in months. Stellan Rainier, she said, her voice steady and clear, I think I'll do more than that. I'm keeping you for a lifetime.